Erev Tov. Good evening, everyone. I'd like please take your seats. We'd like to start the yahrzait in memory of Uncle Juluis. אני רוצה משהו משניות.
Every one of his kids are.
Okay, I'd like to start the yahrzait. Tammy, only descendant here of Uncle Juluis, and she's not at the table.
Probably one of her grandchildren.
There's no one on the Zoom yet. No, like, oh yeah, leave it. Okay. Where? Tommy, we'd like to start. Okay, then we're going to wait for him.
Listen, you're the funniest. All of you are the funniest.
Yehуда, share. אני מדבר איתך לפני שאני אעשה את זה. נכנסתי לאחד האתרים של אותיות השם. Oh, hi Baruch. Baruch's on the line.
Hi, Daddy.
Hi. He can't hear you. It's in my ear.
You want me to buy?
Okay, Baruch line on the line. So far, Baruch is joined. Okay, there's two ways we could go about the yahrzait. There's two ways to go about the yahrzait. We could have a small, short Dvar Torah in memory of Uncle Julius, and then we'll do a Kaddish, and we'll do Ashkava, and then we're going to have everyone around the table bring up memories from Uncle Julius. I think that would be more appropriate because everyone wants to express their feelings that they had towards father, uncle, brother, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, and everything's recorded on the Zoom. And then we're going to have a musical thing for Lichvod Yom Holedet Shel HaRebbe.
Why am I
you don't do a sing-along at a yahrzait. Okay, so it'll be a sing-along for the yahrzait.
Why am I the only one on the Zoom?
What? Baruch wants to know why he's the only one on the Zoom. Call your cousin Brian and ask him. Only Baruch's online.
And where's that?
No, only Baruch, I told you. No, it's on the sand chat. I put it on the chat.
Order me a coffee.
Chag HaPesach, Linui Shmat Yehuda ben Meir. Chag HaPesach, the Passover holiday, has many, many names. Chag HaCherut, Chag HaMatzot. It even has a name that people are not familiar with, Shabbat. It's called Shabbat. Yes, I'll prove it to you. Because one of the psukim on Pesach is Usfaltem lachem mimochorat haShabbat, and the kavanah, the reasoning is not Shabbat Breshit. It's not talking about Saturday, but it's talking about the Chag of Pesach. If, let's say Pesach was on a Wednesday, and we would start Sfirat Omer on Thursday, and that's mimochorat haShabbat, after the Chag of Pesach. So Pesach is called Shabbat. And that's one of the reasons that the Shabbat that we just celebrated this week in Shabbat HaGadol is called Shabbat HaGadol because it has two Shabbatot within it. It has the Shabbat of Pesach and the Shabbat of the weekend of the Saturday. So the names that are around the name around the Chag are part of our heritage, and the most important thing that we get from this.
Nati, I can't hear.
I have to mute you guys because you're driving me crazy. Hold on a second, I'm muting them. Mute them all. I'm muting everyone here. Wait a second. Okay, I see everyone's muted. I see Nati's online and Baruch's online. Okay, so he's on the Zoom too. And Baruch's online and Josh is online. Please mute yourselves. Okay, and this is someone on. So the holiday of Pesach is really the family holiday. And I think if we're going to talk about Uncle Julius now, that was his most important thing. He was a family man. He was a father and a brother. He was very much involved with his family. And we're going to sit at the Seder in another few nights, another few days. We're going to sit together and everyone's going to be surrounded by his family. And the most important thing, the most important mitzvah that we have on Pesach is Vigata Lebincha, Sipur Yitziat Mitzrayim, the Agada. That's the main part. I mean, we drink wine, we eat matzah, we lay back. But at the end of the day, the most important feature in that thing is talking to the kids. I just want to just tell you a beautiful thing I heard by Rabbi Manis Friedman a few nights ago. He's a shaliach in Minnesota, and he spoke that the most important thing when you're raising children is to keeping the table, the food table in the family as the safest place for your kids. Meaning, when a kid comes to the table, he has to feel that no one's going to criticize him and no one's going to insult him and no one's going to say anything bad. And why didn't you do this? And why did you do this? And why did you come looking like this? The most important place for a kid, he has to know the safest haven for him is the table, his food table, that he could come and express himself and no one's going to criticize him. And he could come and eat. And that's what we have. We have the meals, the Shabbos table, we have the Chag table. And if the kids won't feel comfortable coming to eat at the table because they know they're going to be insulted, they're going to be criticized, they're going to be, and I think that's what I'm thinking of Uncle Julius, the laughter that used to go on when we used to sit together in any family event, if it was a yahrzait or a Chag or a Shabbos table. The smile and the pleasantness that we felt having Uncle Julius around us. And I think this is really something that I think I, at least as a nephew, probably one of his closest nephews that have gone with him the longest mile, if you could say. I felt that very strongly with this relationship with him. I want to give my father now to say a few words in memory of Uncle Julius. So let me just give a little more chord. Okay.
נדב, רוצה לסובב ותבקש מאלו שבחוץ להיכנס, אני רוצה לדבר כמה מילים, רוצה שהם
כן, אני אתן לו את הרמקול.
The majority of you who are around the table, who are sitting here and that are outside, did not know my brother Julius. The ones who knew him, the ones who are older and the ones who are closely related, knew who Uncle Julius was. The rest of you didn't know. I'd like you to recognize a little bit about Uncle Julius's character, which you could never know unless it was told to you. I came home this week and it was quite late. And as I got into bed, Estrella said to me, "Your sister Sheila called." Oh, I say, gee, that's nice. She says, "You want to hear what she said?" I said, "Yeah." She says that you have a son. His name is Tzvi. And he is a prince when it comes to helping everybody for no matter what it was. And I told him, I said to him, "Tzvi, you're a terrific guy. I'm sorry that I had to wake you or that you were awakened." And you know what he answered me? He said, "Auntie Sheila, even if you call me at 3 a.m, I'll be there. You just call me and I'll be there." And I said to Estrella, "So what did you answer?" She said, "Nothing." Then I said to myself, why didn't you tell her that her children are no different? You know, Auntie Sheila has a son, his name is Joey. Hardly anybody knows him because he's in Canada. But he does for the family what has to be done. We have financial interests, owning property and owning shares and different things. And you know what? There's nobody to take care of them. Nobody. Except Joey. And when I want to know something about what's going on in the business, I call Joey. And you know why? Because I know I'm going to get the right answers. And Joey gives me the answers. What's that to do with that? And I'll tell you, my late brother, Uncle Juluis, he was exactly the same way. He did for the family what had to be done. Whatever anybody needed, you knew. If you turned to Juluis, it would be done. And it wasn't only for family members. It was for strangers as well. Uncle Juluis ran a hotel which was called the Sovereign. He had many guests that used to come from New York, Montreal, because it was cold and it was rain and it was icy and they were afraid to slip and fall. So they came to Florida. But you want to know something? Unfortunately, all the people that did, all they do was to buy a ticket and put their mother and or father and or grandfather on the plane and ship them out to Juluis with a telephone call. Hi, Juluis, I sent my mother. She's arriving at 4 o'clock tomorrow. So I would say to Juluis, oh, he's coming tomorrow at 4 o'clock. He says, yeah, I'm going to go pick her up. I said, why are you going to pick her up? That they can send their mother and not even worry about what's going, and you're going to go to pick her up. They're alone. They have nobody else. They've known me. They recognize me. That was Juluis. And Juluis was no different than the rest of the family. Julius's children are exactly the same way. And if you need a favor, you don't have to ask twice, just call Brian. He'll do whatever he can. And if you need somebody to talk about him, you can call his daughter Tammy. Like today, I remember the day she was born. I was in the hospital in Bathurst. Bunny was in labor. And I was standing there with Juluis, and we were pacing the floor, waiting for Bunny to be born. And then she was born.
For Tammy
to be. And then they came out and they said, it's a girl. Whoa! We were so happy. Such simple. That's what our family is. We're happy when we hear about good things happening in our family. And they're always happening. They're always happening. She's on the telephone, Mama, and the other phone rings. Who is it? It was your sister Malka calling from Montreal. What'd she say? She said how she misses her brother, Menu. She misses me, so she calls to find out how I am. You know what? I feel the same way about my sister and my sibling. And when I see my sister Ruthie walking in, I say to her, "Hi, Ruthie, I'm so happy to see you." And she says, "Yeah, and I'm happy to see you too." And it's the same with Sheila, and it's the same, Tammy, and it's the same with all of them. This is the family to which you all belong. And you all have obligations. And you all fulfill these obligations. And the obligation is to love and be nice and kind to everyone, and especially your family members. I could sit here and I can talk for another half hour. I can talk for another hour also, and just tell you about things that Julius did. Julius had a house in the country. He bought a house in the country, and he had a lake. And everybody used to go out to visit out in the country. And they say to Julius, wonder how it is. I'm like, here, I'll take you for a ride. Jump into the boat. This was Julius. Heart of gold. I'm not going to go on. I'm only going to tell you that thank God our family is following in the footsteps of Uncle Julius. They are all kind, and they're all people who are good, honest, and helpful to each other. May his memory be blessed.
I'm not going to make the list of the next speakers. I think Tommy, maybe you do the honors.
Thank you, Uncle Menu, for those really, really kind words. First of all, I want to just give an incredible Azakarana tov to Malka and Daddy for opening up your homes. It is Pesach in 4 days, 3 days, 4 days, and most people are turning their house over, and Malka was, but she said to me, I'm going to host it here because Uncle Julius was like my parent, and I want to do this for you, and I want to do this for him, and it's important to me. And let me just say, this is not easy to do. Even though we're a great fun group, we're a messy group. And someone's gonna have to clean and kosher. So thank you, Malka. Thank you, Debbie.
Debbie, the good news about this family is no food left for pigs.
So true. I said to Malka, take out the chametz from the freezer. Empty out your freezer. The buzzards will eat it all. And they did. They did. So I would be remiss if I didn't say, first of all, we want to just say how grateful we are to have our new beautiful granddaughter, Hadassah, that was just born 3.5 days ago to Taya. If I had to say the one thing that this yahrzait represents is how much joy this would have brought to our father, Yehuda ben Meir, because he lived for each and every one of his children. He lived for his siblings. He lived for his nieces and nephews. They were his heart, and they all felt it. It wasn't like, you know, I love you because you're my niece or nephew, or because you're my child. Like, you know, his heart was outside of his chest, beating and really, really strong. So everyone that knew him felt that love, and everyone talks about him in a way that is just, there are no words. He was very devoted, as Uncle Manu said, to his siblings, but he was an extraordinary father and grandfather and husband. And
You love ketchup.
he loved to sing. He loved to sing. Abiel's going to do a concert in his honor. He loved to sing and he loved to laugh. And at his shloshim, we had a really, really incredible rabbi that spoke. And the one thing he said, which really, really, it just sort of like stuck with all of us that was there, that were there. It's Rabbi Shapiro. Was it Mordechai Shapiro?
Mordechai Shapiro is the singer.
Okay, it was Rabbi Shapiro, very, very wonderful rabbi. And he was a very dear friend. And he knew him for so long. And he said, the message he gave over and over again, he kept on repeating it, is if you want to live your life, model Julius Sand, Yehuda ben Meir, model your life after him. And he kept on giving examples of how he lived his life. And he said, I cannot express to you what you need to do. Just do what he did, follow in ways of Torah, in ways of chesed, in chesed that you know, chesed that you don't know, the way he treated people, the way he treated his family, just be like him. And you will live a very, very good life if you choose to do so. So based on that message that he gave, we all know firsthand how he lived his life. And that's why he's missed so terribly by all of us every day, not on his yahrzait only, because every day he's missed and we feel his absence always. I'm so grateful that our children are here, some of them. We're missing Daniel and Jana, but Eliza arrived today, and with Elke, not today, on Friday, and Jacob and Danielle arrived with Isla, Alex, Henry, and Olivia's here, and Aiden, Julian, and we're so grateful. Katie is here from school in Tel Aviv, and my beloved, sweet husband who treated my father like his own father because he was treated like a son. He's always been the most supportive, incredible, giving son-in-law. He treated my parents like they were his parents and opened our home 24/7, 365 days a year to my parents, built a room in our house for them. That is the way he treated them, and that is the way our children were taught how to treat their parents and grandparents. And the truth is that our children and our grandchildren have the split to have their grandparents living in their house for weeks and months at a time. How lucky were they? And what an unusual thing to be able to say that your grandparents lived with you. So, we had so many blessings that we are so grateful for in our lives. But my siblings, Shelly and David, Aaron and Michael, Brian and Karen, Tiva and Lior, we all feel every day the absence of our father and our mother. And we are so tightly connected to each other. We rely on each other. We do for each other. We help each other. And we know that the lessons that Yehuda ben Meir taught us and that our parents taught us are lessons that we will give our children and our grandchildren that hopefully for many generations will live on and teach each other how to really be the best people we can be. So on the yahrzeit today, thank you all for being here. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for always being so devoted and kind and loving. And we love you all. And to Ruthie, and to Sheila, to Salim, and to Estrella, to Menu. I can't say everybody's name here, but I know each one of you has a special place in your heart for my father. And I feel it. I know it. I feel it. And it's really special. So thank you all for being here today. And we should continue to honor his memory and celebrate smachot with each other. And we should celebrate just good things, please, God.
Then give it to Uncle Salim. He wants to see.
Second. Everyone will get.
Okay. Thank you, Tammy. I want to say something on behalf of I would call it the strangers that came out of the family.
Outlaws.
Yeah, they came in, yes. Because, the sands, the dolphins, you used to be together all the time together. The country house. Was an orphan from Givatayim. I said to my dad before he passed away, I have this girl, her name is Malka. I lost my mother, I want to get married. So we came to Manuel and Sterella for Shabbos. And I said to him in the end of the Shabbos, what do you say? He says, wait for Hamelin. I says, I can't. So Hamelin got the jackpot. Anyway, so I said, I have to check the family. So I was able to release Tzvi from the army, and we fly into Montreal, and I came in. So from the airport, we had like 4 meals. We stopped by the Orange Julep. We stopped at the White, they have a few hot dogs. And then they took me to Uncle Izzy, a textile. I come in, there was 2 old people, Uncle Izzy and his partner. He says, this is Malka's boyfriend. Give her Mr. Brief underwear that he shouldn't give him pressure downstairs. Because it's Malka. And they gave me 12 pairs of Mr. Brief underwear, and they gave me socks from nylon that you take it off, you have the shape of your foot. Okay. Then I came to Bobby and Zaidi, to Bobby's son and Zaidi Meyer, and he had a brown big American car. And then I made the first mistake in this family. Bobby says, I need tomatoes and cucumbers. I said, I was in the army. I took the car. I went. I bought 20 tomatoes, 20 cucumbers. I come. I'm a happy camper. Bobby looks at me. Since then, for 2 weeks, she says, I'm going to send only you to do shopping for me. Only you, because you know how to shop. I asked for 1 tomato, you bought 20. What a waste. For 2 weeks, I heard the same sentence. Then I found myself, because I have to get to work, I'll make it short. I came back, I said, Daddy, it's a nice family. They know how to eat. I will not starve. I will have what to eat. Everything's okay. Then I get married to Malcolm, and we go into Miami for Florida for Pesach. Yeah. I come to the airport. There's a big truck. David is there waiting for us. We're putting all the trucks there, coming in. Come to the Sovereign Hotel. Uncle Juluis comes out. First of all, I couldn't see him. He had like 4,000 keys on him. And it was making noise. Keys. For each one safe. For the rooms. Anyway, what is the first thing that he showed me, Uncle Juluis? I will never forget this. In the lobby, in the middle, he opened a carton. It was a big freezer with food, with hot dogs. Remember this freezer? In the lobby. Yes. And then he says, let's make barbecue for Malcolm and Daddy. On the pool outside, Izzy Farber is there. And Uncle Juluis, I said to Izzy Farber, I was young. I said, Uncle Izzy, I was in the army. I bet with you, I can eat more hot dogs than you. He says to me like this, David, since you're a new member in the family, and I want to be nice to Malcolm, the first 50, I'll eat with the bonds and you without. Okay. And then Tibana tells Julius, they're going to finish all the food here. What are you doing? He says, I want to give him to eat. He gives the food so much with cheshik. So Juluis, the achnasa sorchim, They had to do me. I'm just coming into the family. Then I became a singer. He gave me my first concert in Miami for Pesach. I will never forget this concert because I had so many people there. Only one. Only him. He forgot to sell the tickets. But he enjoyed my jokes. He was laughing like 2,000 people. So, Julius, I want to end up with a story. Zaidi Meyer, which I also honored to know him and to see his leadership. He loved Menachem Begin. And he used to go with his picture everywhere. And there's a famous story about Menachem Begin. That he was in a Yeshiva University dinner. He was the guest speaker. And the guest of honor came to him and they introduced him. He just gave a check, $1 million to Yeshiva University. He's the prime minister. So he told Menachem Begin, you know who was my grandfather? Rabbi this and this. So Menachem Begin answered him, don't show me who's your grandfather. Show me who's your grandson. What do you live here for the Jewish people? And I didn't think that Meir's son, Zaidi Meyer, and his son, Uncle Juluis, and all his siblings, that they are upstairs, met Menachem Begin, he wouldn't ask him, show me who's your grandchildren. We see this blessing of this family from generation to generation. The Eloi Nishmas, Rabbi Yehudah ben Meir, which I loved, and he was always nice to me.
So, Nancy, would you like to say a word?
One song. Okay, so one song.
We are
Oh, why is it on me?
say that when I spoke of our aunts and uncles present, I failed to mention Auntie Malka, Uncle Louis, who are not here, who we dearly miss and wish you were here. And we love to spend time with you when we're in Florida. We hope to see you soon. Wish everybody a Hakasher B'Sameach. Have a beautiful, beautiful Chag.
Give this to Uncle Salim and Auntie Ruthie. You want to start, Auntie Ruthie?
Yeah, it's just a short.
It's short and
Where's
sweet.
Tammy? Oh, okay.
Good talk, and everyone sees you on
Yeah.
Zoom.
Well, I after the store, after listening. Oh, you see, I haven't been teaching for 7-8 years. I'm not used to it. Can you hear me now? Yeah. Okay. The apple doesn't fall very far from the tree. I'll just tell you a little something that happened 2 weeks ago with Tammy and David. They gave me a lift back from the cemetery, and I asked Tammy, with their driver, and I asked Tammy, I said, do you mind if I stop off? It was Erev Shabbos, and I needed some chicken soup because I didn't have enough. I was having some company, so I needed to buy a container of chicken soup to add to what I had. And I also needed challah. And Izzy was sleeping in my house that Shabbos, and I needed a few things for him. So I mentioned it to her. I said, do you think you would mind if you stopped the car and I just went out and got these things? She says, Auntie Ruthie, I just made a fresh chicken soup. I'll give you chicken soup. I said, oh, that sounds good. That's great. Then she said, I made challah too. I'll give you challah. And then she stopped. She gave me the chicken soup. She gave me the challah. And then she said, the driver's going to take you to wherever you need to go. It was so wonderful. I went in and I got things at this store, came out, the driver was waiting for me, and then I went into the next store. It was wonderful. And to top it all off, it was delicious. So it doesn't fall very far from the tree. Tammy's kindness and caring is just like her father. And I just thought I would share that. There's a lot of stories with Julius. I could tell you that I wasn't that much, our age difference wasn't great, but all my friends wanted to go out with Julius. They all wanted, he was so handsome. Did you know Tony Curtis? Yeah. Okay, well, he looked like Tony Curtis. Yeah. And everybody wanted to go out with him. They did. Who was Tony? Bunny was the lucky one. Bunny was the lucky one. So, no, but he was very special, and I was very fortunate to live in Florida, and especially in the last few years where they had to go to Fort Lauderdale for a doctor, so they passed Hollywood. And I, of course, was alone. They never did it without calling me in advance and telling me, we're coming back, we're going out for dinner, you're coming with us. And I used to meet them, and we used to have dinner together, and I do miss him.
Like everybody else, he went to vacation for Hanukkah time to the Sovereign, to the famous Sovereign Hotel. And there I got a piece of memory, a little souvenir that honestly, I don't think I will forget it for the rest of my life. Try to imagine this. Bobby is sitting at the door of her room at the end of the hall. Julius is at his desk. He looks to the left. He sees his mother. He walks, and it's a long sled. He walks all along until he gets to her, and he bends and he gives her a kiss. Bobby Sand got a jolt. That's the only way I could mention it. She got a jolt, obviously of happiness, not that she got absolutely a jolt of happiness, and she was looking like who was watching her son coming purposely to kiss her in front of everybody. I don't think I would forget it for the rest of my life. That was absolutely beautiful. That's it, short and sweet.
Okay, who else wants to speak now? David, would you like to say a few words? I mean, you've been speaking for the last 5. Oh, Josh. So give this to David, he'll speak after you. Take this one. Josh,
okay, I happen to be privileged in the crowd that did get to know Uncle Julius, and what a special uncle. I'm talking now from the nephews and nieces. Besides all of the things that you mentioned that he's busy with the hotel and with the kids, he also took care of the Hebrew Academy. And some of the keys that were jingling were for many of the doors in the academy. And he was there for the minions and in the lunchroom. Because I was his nephew, he would always come and say hello to me. It was the most incredible thing. I remember from kindergarten, like literally kindergarten, walking outside, Uncle Julius was there, give me a big hug and kiss, few coins or whatever to buy something in the gift shop. And it was the most incredible. It was the tip of the iceberg, but the love that Uncle Julius had for all of us was just off the scale. And truly miss him. I'm sure everybody else does. And it's just unfortunate the ones that didn't get to meet him. You're hearing these stories, but to be with him in real life was just an incredible thing. And he's greatly missed. Greatly missed.
Keep the mic.
So when I was privileged to be in shul on Shabbos and listening to the naming of our new granddaughter, Italian Sam wouldn't tell us, they would not tell us who they were naming the baby after, and knowing them, because they do things their own way and they're very eclectic, I just assumed that it would be a name that would be, some new modern Israeli name. Anyway, we heard, or I heard, Tammy was home with Talia, I heard them mention the name of my mother, so I was just floored because of what a wonderful person she was. What does that have to do with tonight? So when I spoke in the shul, and I spoke a little bit about my mother, and I said, you know what? It's an incredible thing that you can't underestimate the impact that parents have on children. You know, if parents do a good job with their kids, it really puts them on a glide path to a good life, a happy life, successful life. When parents don't do a good job, even when their kids are 70, 80 years old, they're still in therapy trying to figure out, what happened to them. And so, when you're a parent, you don't always realize that, but you see over time how important it is. And so, when I think of the influences in my life, I had two primary influences. I had my father and I had my father-in-law. Now, my father, of course, I knew longer. And there, the primary influence was the fact that he thought my brother was much smarter than me. And I spent most of my life trying to convince him that he was wrong. And so, as my brother would, achieve various things in life, and I would, just try to move a step further, and only for one reason, just my father would agree that I was just as competent as my brother, if not more so. When it came to my father-in-law, I was taking away his beloved daughter, I took away the first child. What? First child to get married. Yeah, I mean, you were the first one to get married. And he had such love for Tammy. He had such love for all of his children, but he had such love for Tammy. And I don't think he thought I was good enough for her at the beginning. I think he thought that nobody was good enough for her. And, I think he...
No, I think you're wrong.
Yeah. That was later. I think that was later.
Sheila, don't change his feelings. This is how he felt. That's how he felt. Wasn't good enough.
I know.
Okay, but he felt different.
Okay. I didn't get that originally. I thought that he was. Look, it wasn't that. It had nothing. I didn't take it personally. Nothing to do with me. It had to do with how much he loved Tammy and how much he wanted all his children to have nothing but the best. This was the first time anybody was coming into the house and taking away one of his kids, or at least marrying one of his kids and moving her out of the house. And so I spent the next 35 years or so, whatever the number is, trying to convince him that I was good enough to be married to his beloved Tammy. And I hope I got there. I think we sort of made progress towards the end, but I'm still not sure we got there all the way. it's the greatest disappointment of my life that I didn't have my father or my father-in-law with me as I went on this journey to be the shagrir. Yes. And but both of them have just in different ways have had tremendous influence over me, of course, over Tammy and our whole family. And I want to thank everybody for doing this, because it's not something that happens that often, that people get together on a busy week to. No, we did pay for the food, so it's not like it's completely.
I thought it was from the embassy.
Don't find me in charge of it. So, but it's very special. I don't think it happens in too many families that people get together, not just for a father like Tammy's case, but for an uncle or for a sibling. And the fact that everybody came here on short notice and when they have so many other things to do is something that I think is amazingly impressive and a great tribute to as Manu, you said, a great tribute to a beautiful family. So thank you so much.
Steve. I think that was time for a little break, or you'd like
to
say
but it's very short.
Paul is going to speak now. Paul's got to have it on recorded here.
I want you to video it. Where are you going, Bill?
Paul can sit down.
They can't send them somewhere else.
אני לא רוצה.
לא צריך.
אני לא רוצה. הנה, אבישג.
Oh my gosh,
I feel very honored and I feel very blessed to host this yahrzait in my house. It's not the first yahrzait. It's the second yahrzait that I'm hosting in my house. It's the second one. And I wanna express two messages which I think gave a very big impact on me. And I hope that Shelley and David, Karen and Michael, Brian and Karen, Tiva and Lior, that you're all listening to the message, which I think is a very important message to me. You know, one of the things in the Torah that we all know is the expression of sibling rivalry.
Rivalry.
Rivalry. What does it mean?
Rivalry.
Rivalry. Rivalry.
Now you got it.
Rivalry. I don't have to tell you, in the Torah, we see a lot of siblings with a lot of problems. The first two brothers, one killed each other. Cain and Hevel. Bad example. Then we have the story of Yaakov and Esau. Bad example. He stole the bracha. They were fighting, wanting to kill each other. Then we have the 12 tribes. They sold Joseph. They wanted to kill him. They were all jealous of him. So we understand that this is a very difficult path to copy. And I want to speak now about the relationship of the two brothers, my father and Uncle Juluis, alav hashalom. Because they ended up buying an apartment in Petach Tikva and they lived upstairs. Wherever my father went, Uncle Juluis went, like twins. Whatever my father did, Uncle Julius did, but it was done in a way that they wanted to be with each other, that they loved each other, that they cared about each other. And this love went to me, to all my children, to all my grandchildren, everybody. When they used to come here, they would feel part of, to the level when Sippy gave birth to one of her babies and Auntie Bunny and Uncle Julius came in the house. Uncle Julius held the baby. He looked at Sippy. He said, Sippy, we're taking the baby tonight. She's going to sleep with us upstairs. That's the amount of love and care. And I remember Uncle Julius and Dobush shared their same birthday. And when Dobush was in camp, Uncle Julius and Auntie Bunny made sure to celebrate their birthday together. Sometimes it's little behaviors that create a very, very big person. When I used to come to New York and Uncle Julius was there, Malka, let me pack the car for you. I know how to arrange the luggage. I'll drive you here. I'll take you there. I think really the loss and the love and the caring that he taught me. And I think of him many, many times, and I pray and I wish that my children will copy his footsteps in loving each other. I know that Kanena Horda, his children, and I asked Tammy, I don't see you guys in America, but I'm always getting updated how you care about each other, how you're in touch, that you have a group. And I think that there's no other way to honor parents is to show the father and mother that the children get along. It's the hardest thing. It's the most challenging thing. But I think that there's no other way to remember and to respect parents. So I want to, at this very special moment, and we spoke about Babi and Zadie Sand, Oliver Sholem, that those were our grandparents. And I'm sure that when they see everyone together, whoever's present, whoever's on Zoom, and the love and the kindness and the little stories that everybody has a story from Uncle Julius, a story that's in their heart, because I don't think you could have met him and not remember him. He left a mark. First thing, that he was so good looking. I don't know this actor that he looked like, but I do know that his smile, and he always had a good word to say. He was happy to see every human being, I think, on this earth. And I want to thank him. I really want to thank him. And I want to thank you for bringing me Tammy, because Tammy and I were the same age, actually together with Shelly. I'm in between. No, I'm older than Shelly. But we really, really grew up together. We went to camps together. We spent time together. And our children, our grandchildren, and Be'ezrat Hashem, the continuing generation should stay together with the love and the kindness that you taught us. Sheyeh Le'ilui Nishmato.
Beautiful, beautiful, Malka.
והקדוש ברוך הוא מצילנו, מצילנו והקדוש ברוך הוא מצילנו, I think maybe now we'll give some people on the Zoom to say a few words. We could open up the Zoom. I see Karen's here, and Michael, and Ario, Rose and Blue. So if you unmute yourself, I'll put you on the family Zoom. Karen, they could all hear you now. Karen?
Yes, hi, I'm sorry. I'm at school, so I'm just trying to close.
Oh, you're
myself.
at school.
Yes. I'm sorry I wasn't on earlier because I was actually making a model Seder with my class, which I was thinking as we were doing it, how much my dad would have loved to have come to school for this. I was thinking back to a day when I had Olivia in my class. I think it was Olivia. And my dad came to school for davening because, as you all know, my father was a huge davener and he really enjoyed anything having to do with going to shul and doing all the minhagim of being a good Jewish person and just, you know, incorporating it with family. And as I was doing this model Seder with my class today, and we were having such a good time and we were singing, I was really thinking about him because I'm happy to say, at least as hard as it is to think of the fact that this is 6 years, when I think of my father and when I think of my mother, I really smile. I really have such wonderful, wonderful memories. My father was the ultimate family man. And I think that, you know, I like to think of myself as a family person. And I do believe that that was from the way he treated his family. He treated his siblings. He treated his parents. And it was so important to him. So when I see all of you sitting there, it makes me feel really good just to know that you're all there to celebrate my father's life. Because when I think about my dad, that's how I think of it. I think of it as a celebration of the wonderful person that he was. And I just hope that he is very happy and proud with my mom and, you know, enjoying all the beautiful, you know, nachas that they have below and, you know, watching out for all of us. Thank you all for being there.
Thank you, Karen. Is there anyone else on the Zoom that would like to say? Baruch, I don't know who's left over here. I can't see everyone. Michael's here. Would you like to say anything? Malka's not online. At least I don't see her. I see Golan's online and Michael's online.
Hi, Tzvi.
Oh, Michael would like to say a few words.
Yeah, I just want to, you know, go back to, you know, David was talking about how he was welcomed into the family. I don't know, I never had a problem. I never felt I was welcome, but you know, from day one, my father-in-law was just so embracing, and everything about family was just of such extreme importance. And we saw it as our kids grew up throughout the years. And you know, one of my greatest regrets is that he didn't get to see our kids. You know, some of our kids get married. He hasn't seen some of our grandchildren, but I know how essential and important these aspects of things, these types of things were to him. I mean, my kids constantly heard about it every time my in-laws came up to visit. How they got to find the shidduch, they got to do this, and but they, you know, they meant it and they were right, and they've just been such a tremendous influence on everybody's life. And you know, just to second something that Malka said about the special relationship with Uncle Menu, I just want to, you know, in front of everybody, just mention that when Karen and I made Aliyah, Uncle Menu took us in as if we were his own children. And he helped set us up in Ra'anana as if I was one of his own, as if you know, we were flesh and blood. And to this day, I am grateful. And I just want to say, my father-in-law's neshama should have an aliyah.
Amen. Amen. We have a meeting here, so we're going to do the Kaddish now. Rabbi Hanan ben Akasha Omer, רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לזכות את ישראל, לפיכך הרבה להם תורה ומצוות שנאמר, אדוני חפץ למען צדקו, יגדיל תורה ויאדיר. אמן. אמן. יש מרפא מברך, כללה מהמיה יפרח. Amen. Amen. We're having now a siyum masechet. הוא לא רוצה, הוא כן רוצה. מה קורה? Here's the mic. Okay, we're going to have a siyum now. Malka's grandson, Nadav Lieberman, is now going to make a siyum masechet. לא, זה לא טוב. כי אנחנו ביום שישי צריכים את זה.
אתה תראה בווידאו.
אני לוקח הלוואת בלון. אבל אני לא דואג, כי יש לי את 4 אנשים שעושים סיום ביום.
תוציא את
תסדר את זה.
So I'm doing it.
אוקיי.
נדב.
אין לו את המיקרופון. אוקיי.
סיום מסכת. בכבוד. טוב. קח את הרמקול. נדב עושה את הסיום, אבל למדתי איתו. Nadav is doing the siyum, but I learned with him a lot, so I'm just going to say the Torah, and he's going to say the siyum with the Kaddish. So we have in Masechet Megillah, Tav Zayin Amud Bet, we have here a nice story about Rabbi Zakai. So, Shalu Talmidav et Rabbi Zakai, B'ma yachachta yamim. What? He had longer life. So he said one of the things that he had a special mother. He had a special mother, and his mother is the most important thing for him, for Rabbi Zakai, is to make kiddush, to do kiddush b'Shabbat. And they were very poor, and his mom, one time they didn't have money to buy grape juice, so his mom, she sold her sheitel because she wanted her son to do kiddush. on grape juice. They didn't have money, and she showed her shekel.
Her hair.
And from that, after she passed away, and Rabbi Zakai, מה?
מחת השיער, לא את
כיפה שבראשה. מה זה כיפה שבראשה?
לא משנה.
כיסוי ראש.
נו, ומה אמרתי?
אמרת שקל.
נו, זה דעה. כיסוי ראש.
אוקיי.
And what was special after, the Gemara tells us that he had a lot of money and everything was okay. But what's special about the story? So what's unique about the Sand family? That the most important thing is family. And where do we find family? At Shabbat. And we know Uncle Julius and our Zaidi and the great Zaidi and the great Zaidi. The most important thing for them was family. They wanted everybody to be happy together and to laugh together and to sing together. And we know I was very close to Uncle Julius. We were born at the same day. The same day in the Hebrew and the English is a day apart. He was 25th and I'm 26th in July.
But your Hebrew birthday was the same.
But the Hebrew birthday was the same. And every year I used to come to New York. I used to go to camp. I used to go to Tammy's house. And after camp, Uncle Julius, he told me to get inside the car. And every year he took me to buy a present for my birthday. And it was also his birthday, but I never bought him a present. He bought me. But it was very special. And that's a small story. Now Nadav is going to say the seal. משה תיקן להם.
אבל תחזיק את הרמקול ליד הפה.
משה תיקן להם בישראל שיהיו שואלים מדושים בדינו של יום ללכות פסח מפסח, ללכות עצרת מעצרת, ללכות חג מפסח. אדם הלך בני העיר ושים את האדם מסכת מגילה. מסכת ברכות ולא תנשל מינן, מגילה ולא תנשל מינן, לא בעל מה דין ולא בעל מה דעתה. אדון הלך מסכת מגילה ואדך הלך מסכת מגילה ואדך הלכות שני לא תנשי, מנח מסכת מגילה ולא תנשי מינן, לא בעל מה דין ולא בעל מה דעתי. אדון הלך מסכת מגילה ואדון הלך מסכת מגילה La Sagrada, yo te maneja de no sé qué, de בעולם הזה וגאים, היינו בעולם בעת, חנינה בפאפה, רמי בפאפה, נחמן בפאפה, חי בפאפה, אדון בפאפה, מפקד בפאפה, סמכה בפאפה, עדה בפאפה, גאו בפאפה. ונע אדוני אלוהים את זיבות התחנפל בפתחך ובישראל, ישראל כולם לפני שלך ולתך נשמע מבית חברים ותתך כי עולם יהי נביא גלים ותתך למען לא יבוש העם לא ישכח ותתך אביבם ברוך אתה אדוני ולכבך אמן 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 חודים אנחנו לענך אדוני לעבודנו שכן גרשו שבדרת וצרה שכנים משכימים משכימים אנו משכימים דברי תורה ומשכימים דברי מדברים אנו בנים בנים ברכה והם אינם בנים אנו בתים ואין מוצאים אנו הם רוצים לדבר שחת, עד שדמים הם אני אפתח בה. עיר רצון מפלניך, אדוני, השם שאת נפתה לסיים, מסכת נגידה, שאת הזאת להטריף, לספרות, תסבירים, ללמוד וללמד, לשמור לעשות ולקיים, כל דברי תלמוד תורתך מערב, בזכות כל התנאים ועוברים את התנאי חמים, יעמדו עולים ולזרים שלא תדמו של תורה, מפלי ובלי זרה, וזרי ושרי, עד עולם, כאין לי, ולך ונך, ולשמור לשמור עליך, ותראיתי ששת חיבי, ריבוי ומלך, ותראיתי לך, שתראי חיים, כל שמים ירמייה וזמירה, שבתרבות, ומנה לדבר,
להטבה בהכנת ישמעאל אתה ולמלך ולשב ארוכו ולמלכותיו ויקרא לתמוך וכנראה להתקרב לשיחם.
אמן. אמן. יש מאהבה מברך.
Yeah, but why? When he was he was tourist, I said, "Oh my God." Or maybe somebody in Melbourne has been like every day now he's saying.
Amen. Yes, Auntie Sheila, give the speaker.
I was just thinking about Auntie Sheila. I was just making an observation.
Put it in your mouth.
I was just making an observation and thinking about this. We spoke about Julius, and of course we touched on my father, but we didn't really go a little bit deeper. And now that I remember it, and now that I think about it, my father was so close with his brother, Uncle Yanyu. And every time I came to Israel, it was the same feeling as Julius has with his nieces and nephews, with his uncles. And it was the same feeling that Julius was with his nieces and nephews, with his siblings. It was exactly the same thing with Uncle Yanni. I came to Israel, I knew that he would be waiting at the airport with the biggest smile, with Malkil and Aviva and Tiva. They would greet me. I was so excited to see my uncle. And obviously my father learned it from his family, from my grandfather, from my grandmother Malka, and from my...
That's me.
Yes. And my Zaidi Ben Sion.
That's me.
So I'm just trying to say that it really goes door to door and people learn from their family.
That's me.
You know, Sheila, what you forgot is that your father was so close to his wife's siblings. They were like brothers and sisters. Didn't forget. Daddy was with Uncle Morris and with Uncle Isaac, and he was like a brother to them. That's right. But I was really talking brother and brother, like Menu and Julius, my father and Uncle Yanyu. And I was just saying, it all comes from the same place. It's how you were brought up, and then you treat your kids the same way, and they learn from you. That was the most important thing for my father. Family, that our brothers and sisters would get along. That's it. That was the main thing.
Right. And the greatest thing is that he succeeded.
Achievement. What? I didn't hear you just said the greatest thing is that he succeeded.
Succeeded.
Through love. Just through love. Love and love of Torah. Love of Torah. Yes. Oh, yeah. Yes.
Okay, I'm not there.
No, Yorachami.
אני חושב על ירושלים, עיר הקודש. אני חושב על המשיח שיבוא. יו 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 ay 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 כל העולם יש עצה והעיקר לא לפחד לה, לא לפחד לה. כל העולם יש עצה, כל העולם יש עצה והעיקר לא לפחד לה, לא לפחד לה. ידע לך בני שבכל מצב שהוא אבא איתי הוא יפעיל ולהסתכל למען לא נתת חייני מלמען ידעתי בו אני איתך כל העולם בשבילך בואי אהובי ידעתי בו אני איתך כל העולם בשבילך על קינה קינני אמן אמן. איפה? אבי אבטולים הזמן טס לא נתפס שאני אבא מרגיש מהילדות אל המציאות שאני חי בה אחרי כל כך הרבה שנים. אמרתי חכי, אמרתי תראי פתאום ימדלו ותביא פתאום כבישה עוד רגע שיבה וכמה שנים עליבים לחץ קטן הלב נמנע שני חדרים המציאות עובד שעות וחגים אני ששנו השנים מבחדים שאני לא אספיק להגיע לשכות מעצמי להושיע לסתור איתו ולהגיע ותגיע איך מגיע להתפלל על הילדים שלי שלא יצאו את הסריטות שלי שיחפו לבד את השני אמן שלי ומתגלה אמן 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 על הילדים שלי שלא יצאו את הסריטות שיחבקו אחד את השני, הבן שלי אומרים תמיד,
Avdai lechefaisa, avadi ma'inu hayinu.
שלום, אני מבקש ממך בכל ליבי, ומזה התפילה שתעשה אותי שלום. אונו של עולם, אני מבקש ממך בכל ליבי, וזה התפילה שתנחה אותי. שתדליק חיילי וימיך ולתקן בי ולבית בי לעבודך מיהבה ואינה ימיך